I come from a conservative Christian family. All my family members were/are involved in the church and have church-based jobs. When they met my wife, they loved her and embraced her as their own. We dated for 2 years and discovered she was pregnant after we got engaged. Invitations were already given at the time, and we decided to still have the wedding on date when my wife was 5 months in. My family were furious when they found out my wife was pregnant. They asked if we even still considered having a wedding. I said why not, but they were very upset, especially mom and dad, who said they've always been known for their decency and good Christian values and weren't willing to let this stain their reputation. As in my wife and I getting married while pregnant. They officially dropped out and refused to negotiate, saying it was done and I have only myself to blame for this outcome and should move the wedding out of town. I was hurt. I tried to change their minds and checked with other members, but my brother said he had no intentions to look like a joke in front of his fellow church members and dropped out. My aunt pretended to be sick and said she may not be able to make it. She's 100% healthy. My cousin said he had business trip and stopped his wife and kids from attending, and my uncle cussed me out, torn the invitation and kicked me out. I felt terrible with no family members of my own to support me and share my joy at my wedding. I even broke down crying after the ceremony. I haven't spoken to them for months and then got busy with my 4-week-old daughter. My cousin reached out to hand me gifts and well wishes for the birth of my daughter sent from my family. I returned everything. He sat with me on behalf of the family, saying I shouldn't have returned gifts that were from my family who want to see and hopefully be involved in my daughter's life. He said Mom's longing to meet her grandbaby and everyone else is wanting to visit soon to celebrate my daughter's life. I asked him this question. I said, wasn't my daughter the reason why the entire lot of them abandoned my wedding? He just stared grudgingly as I went on about how they treated my daughter as something to be ashamed of and hide. My daughter at some point will ask about the wedding and I have no intentions on lying to her. He replied saying he guaranteed I got it all wrong and no matter what goes down between us I can never deny that my daughter is their granddaughter/niece/etc. and they're her family. He asked that I arrange for them to visit, but I refused. He kept pressing the idea, but I shut him down. My wife says I should let them come, but I still refused. Not the idiot. Keep them away from your daughter. You're right, they are toxic. My friend had a similar thing happen, but let the family back into his life. He found out years later that the family would pull his daughter aside from when she was about 4 up until she was about 12 or 13 to tell her terrible stuff. Not the idiot. Actions have consequences. They chose their church facade over being supportive family members. They ruined the relationship. Now that there is a physical adorable baby, they want to play with her. Nah, fam. You're still hurt. You have to give yourself time to heal, then decide if you want to rebuild a relationship with your family. Congrats on your little one and marriage. Not the idiot. They chose to shame you and your wife over her being pregnant, and now they learn the hard way that being a grandparent, uncle, great aunt, great uncle and cousin is a privilege and not a given right, and if they are going to be so disrespectful towards you and your wife over this pregnancy and your wedding, then they've only got themselves to blame for no future relationship with you, your wife and child. Your child doesn't need people who are disrespectful to her parents in her life, just because they are family. So, I've been seeing this guy 30, Kevin, for several of months now. We'd visit each other weekly, and last week, he spent the night with me. Next morning I woke up 9 a.m. and couldn't find him nor my car. I searched for my car key that was at the bottom drawer in my son's room. I usually hide it in there and no one knows about this secret place, but couldn't find it. I freaked out and tried calling Kevin, but his phone was dead, so I ended up calling the police after waiting for like 10 minutes. Shortly after, I discovered that Kevin was found with my car at the supermarket's parking lot. He was taken in by authorities and the car was returned. He was fuming at me, saying I should not have called the cops because he took the car to go buy us breakfast. In my defense, I said he never asked for my permission and I never gave him the okay to drive it. He argued that he thought I wouldn't mind, much less escalate and call the cops after he's done a nice thing for me and my son. He said he never had issues with cops, but because of me now they thought he was a thief. We haven't talked since then. His brother keeps berating me, saying I messed up and acted stupidly. Am I the idiot for freaking out and calling the cops? I didn't even know how he got the key. Forget him literally stealing your car, but what was he doing in your son's room, where I'm assuming your son was sleeping, rifling through his stuff while you were unable to intervene because you were sleeping? This guy is a creep and you need to keep him away from your son. He sounds like a hardcore predator. Protect your child and keep this man away from your family. Not the idiot. Not the idiot, very easy to see how this happened. He didn't ask to use your car, he just took it. How do you know what he was doing? You're not a mind reader. You also had your key hidden, how did he get it? Did he search the entire house looking for it? Next time he needs to communicate his plans. I'd have called the cops too. Perhaps he should have thought about the consequences before taking your car without asking and not even leaving a note. How absurd. I would have jumped to the same conclusion, especially if he didn't answer his phone. Even if he had carelessly planned the surprise breakfast, he went about it the wrong way. Especially since you never told anyone where the key was. Not the idiot. This year I, 32, am hosting Thanksgiving at my house, and I have been working all month on coming up with the menu and testing all my recipes. I am so excited to share my cooking with my family, and my husband, 35, has been supportive and helpful through all the planning and prep work. I have bought all the ingredients and I have a beautiful variety of dishes planned, both traditional and a few unique additions. Well, today my husband dropped the bombshell on me that his MIL wants to bring her own dinner to eat when she comes over. I asked him why she would need to bring her own food when I will have more than enough here. He just made excuses, saying I know how his mother is a grade A picky eater and she won't like anything I have prepared. I thought that was ridiculous. I am not making anything unfamiliar to her and there will be plenty to choose from. He argued that her bringing her own dinner would be a good compromise, and I disagree. It will be hugely obvious that she's making a comment on my cooking, and it would be humiliating to have her there eating something completely different in front of everyone. It's like she's trying to make a point of showing that my cooking isn't good enough for her. I think she is being incredibly rude and disrespectful of the time, money, and labor I have put into this upcoming meal. I told him if she can't eat anything here, then she is welcome to stay home and eat whatever she wants. My husband is now calling me insensitive and petty. He says I am ruining the holiday. I don't see it that way. I only want friends and family around who are appreciative and kind. I don't need the negativity of someone rejecting everything I've cooked and insulting my cooking when I've worked so hard. This has truly been a labor of love, and I took on this responsibility to share that love with my family and friends. Am I the idiot for not wanting my MIL to come if she's going to reject everything I've made? So you want to force her to eat the food you made, or she can't come? You do realize that all the time and money you spent on this is your own doing and no one asked that of you? You are not allowed to get mad at her for disrespecting the time and money you spent. She didn't ask you either. It is his mother. He has every right to want her there, and if she is choosing to be the odd man out and want to answer the questions about her food choice, that's on her. You are the idiot. You are the idiot. It's an easy kindness to have her, or anyone with food issues, bring her own food. Your other guests, tasting your good food, will not think it's a comment on your cooking. They will recognize that she has something going on that's about her, not you. This has been a labor of love? Giving someone the choice between forcing themselves to eat food they don't like or stay home away from her family isn't love. Am I the only one who doesn't think it's disrespectful? I mean, if she's a picky eater and she just brings her own meal, then what's the big deal? You guys are still spending time as a family. That's what the holiday is about. Not about forcing someone to eat what you have or don't eat at all. It's about being thankful for having each other around. As much as I love a good Thanksgiving dinner, I don't think it's offensive for someone to be eating something else. I don't think this is a hill to die on, honestly. She's picky, let her bring a plate of food she knows she'll enjoy. Background: I, 28, have been going to school full-time and working full-time and teaching fitness classes as a side gig for the past 4 years. The 2 years before that, I was juggling 2 to 3 jobs at a time to save up for school. I can count on one hand the number of small breaks I've had in the last 6 years. I am very tired but graduate in a few short weeks. The situation: since my schedule is freeing up, my parents and 2 older sisters decided we wanted to go on a week's vacation early next year. We have been planning and discussing, and so far it's just been the 5 of us. My mom called me this past weekend and said that my oldest sister wanted to invite my cousin on vacation with us and asked what I thought. I immediately said I would not be coming if she was too. My cousin has a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and she would absolutely be bringing them if she came. I cannot imagine anything less relaxing than being on vacation with 2 toddlers, and as I said, I haven't been on vacation in 6 years. My mom said she agreed with me but was pretty neutral on the whole situation, but she would tell my sister that my cousin couldn't come. Flash forward to last night and my oldest sister called and told me I was a complete idiot for not letting my cousin come on vacation with us. She was raging. We got in a fight about it and haven't talked since. The rest of my family is staying out of it. Not the idiot. It's not your cousin's vacation, it's your family's. That means you and your family get to decide who comes and who doesn't. If you are uncomfortable with having kids there, that's that. And furthermore, your cousin and sister should be understanding that you don't want kids there. Whenever kids go on a trip, they often end up being everyone's responsibility, not just the parents. It's only a vacation for them. Not the idiot. Hill to die on. Do not go if she is going. You will not just not get a break, you will come back more stressed. And angry. And down money. And you will be crippled for what is next in your life because you are physically and mentally tired. If you think it's basically ruined at this point, just back out and do a spa week for yourself and reset. You will not regret it. Not the idiot. It sounds like the original plan was immediate family only. This was not for extended family. Why is your sister so desperate to bring your cousin and her children? I understand why your mom wants to stay neutral in this, but the new idea was not a part of the original plan. You should stress that you have not relaxed in 6 years and you want to just spend time with your parents and sisters only. That's a pretty reasonable request.